Welcome back to this lecture on the divide and conquer problem-solving paradigm. So far we have discussed two concepts, divide and conquer algorithms and divide and conquer recurrence relations. Remember, the idea is that a divide and conquer recurrence relation models the runtime of a divide and conquer algorithm. So in particular, the process that you should be familiar with is the following. Starting with a divide and conquer algorithm, and when asked to compute or determine the runtime or time complexity of this algorithm, the first step is to model this runtime using a recurrence relation. And the second step is going to solve that recurrence relation. So in this segment, we focus on how to determine the divide and conquer recurrence relation that models the runtime or the time complexity of a divide and conquer algorithm. And in the remaining segments of this lecture, we'll focus on how to solve these recurrence relations. So we're going to look at the three previous examples of divide and conquer algorithms and show how to, in practice, determine the recurrence relations that model their time complexity. So our first example is the merge sort algorithm. Let's say I ask you to determine the time complexity or the runtime of merge sort. Well, because it's a divide and conquer algorithm, you know you have to determine the specific form of its divide and conquer recurrence relation. And in particular, we must determine the value of a, b, and g of n. So in this case, we have two recursive calls, which means the outcome of the divide step is two smaller or easier problems, so therefore a is equal to 2. Second, we must determine the value of b. Now for that, you look at the size of these easier problems. So notice here that this sequence has approximately length n over 2. Of course, the assumption is that the same is true for this sequence, and it is. So since the size of all of these easier problems is n over 2, b must be equal to 2. So we can start writing the recurrence relation for this algorithm. F of n is going to be equal to a, or 2, times f of n over b, that is f of n over 2. And do not forget to add the function g of n. Now remember, g of n is the runtime of the divide step and the combine step. So let's compute the runtimes of these two components. First, let's compute this runtime. Well, the runtime of this algorithm is determined by the size of its inputs. Now remember that the length of the combined sequence L followed by R is exactly n. So the input size to this algorithm is n, and remember that the runtime of this algorithm is linear. In other words, it's equal to a constant times n. So we're done with this combined step. Now this one is even easier because the runtime of this divide step is constant. The number of primitive operations here does not depend on the value of n. So when we add up these two runtimes, we get g of n is equal to c times n, where c is some constant, plus another constant, say d. Now, of course, in terms of time complexity analysis, this linear term dominates the constant term, so we're not even going to bother writing the constant term here. We just say g of n is on the order of n. So we can put that into the recurrence relation here. And the final form of this recurrence relation then is f of n equals 2 times f of n over 2 plus c of n, where c is some positive constant. Now remember, next we're going to solve this recurrence relation, and in order to find a unique solution, which is the runtime of this algorithm, we need one more piece of information, that is the initial condition. Now in this case, the initial condition is the runtime of the base case of the algorithm. Since the size of the base case is 1, the runtime of this algorithm is nothing but f of 1. And in this case, f of 1 is just a constant, We might even want to say it's a constant 1 since it only takes one step to execute. So together this recurrence relation and this initial condition constitute a recursive definition of the runtime f of n of this algorithm, and in a later segment we will show how to solve this recurrence relation. But for now, we're going to turn our attention to a second example, and that example is the binary search algorithm we discussed earlier. And all we want to do here again is determine the divide and conquer recurrence relation that models the runtime of this algorithm. So to fully specify the divide and conquer recurrence relation, we need to determine the values of a, b, and g of n. So let's look at this recursive call here. Notice there are two inputs to this recursive call, but the one on which the recursion operates, of course, is the first one, the sequence. What is the length of the sequence? Well, it's approximately n over 2. The same is true, of course, of this other recursive call. So in this case, b is equal to 2. Now, we got to be careful when we determine the value of a. Remember, a is the number of recursive calls that this algorithm is going to perform. And remember, that number here is not 2 because there's an if statement, and only one of these recursive calls is actually performed, and therefore a in this case is equal to 1. Finally, so we can start writing the recurrence relation. A is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and then we need to compute g of n. Well, what's the runtime of this divide step? Again, it's a constant time. It doesn't depend on the value of n. The runtime of the combine step is also constant time. So when you add a constant to a constant, you get constant runtime. Let's call that constant c. And so this is the final form of the recurrence relation for this divide and conquer algorithm. Let's just mention again that to get a unique solution, you would have to compute the runtime of the base case here, and in this case f of 0 would be equal to 1 because there's only one primitive operation here. So together this value of f of 0 combined with this recurrence relation, once you solve it, would give you the unique solution to the runtime of this algorithm. Notice one interesting aspect of this example is that a does not have to be equal to b. So in the previous example, a and b were both equal to 2. In this case, a is strictly smaller than b, and there will be cases where a is strictly greater than b. So keep that in mind for later when we discuss the solution to these recurrence relations. But for now, let's wrap up this segment by considering our third example, namely the min-max algorithm. So if I ask you to determine the time complexity of the runtime of this recursive algorithm, you would recognize it as a divide and conquer algorithm, and therefore you would try to determine the specific form of its divide and conquer recurrence relation. So let's do that. First, we count the number of easier problems that this algorithm solves. That's the same as the number of recursive calls, which is 2. So a is equal to 2. Then we look at the size of the input to this recursive call. That's n over 2 approximately, which is equal for the two subproblems. So b is equal to 2. And then we look at the runtime of the divide step. That's a constant time that does not depend on the value of n. And similarly, the runtime, or the number of operations performed on the combine step, is also constant time. You basically have to do a comparison and an assignment for this first half of the answer, and then you do a comparison and an assignment for the second half. This number of operations does not depend on n. So this is constant time. This is constant time. There might be two different constants, but when you add them up, you get g of n is some constant times c. So in conclusion, f of n is defined as 2 times f of n over 2 plus c, and that is the final form of the recurrence relation for this divide and conquer algorithm. Now remember, in the next segment we're going to solve these recurrence relations, and to get a unique solution we're going to need an initial condition. In this case, the initial condition is for n is equal to 1. That's the base case of the recursion. And f of 1 here is equal to a constant. Let's say constant 1. So f of 1 is equal to 1. Together with this recurrence relation, we have a complete and unique definition of the runtime f of n of this algorithm. So in the next segment, we're going to discuss how to solve these recurrence relations.